I'm pretty angry today. I find some of what I've seen today to be pretty annoying, actually. And I think the 90s router is a cowardly I just want to say that the entire point of all of this entire stream, is to prove the point. The 90s router is an abject retard and a coward. He has made every attempt possible to do the exact opposite of something an otherwise rational, normal person would do. So, one thing we need to point out here, real quick, is that this guy, 90s router, I have this totally organized, by the way, it's 10 out of 10. He gave up control of his server. He ran. What 90s router says here is, anyways, take care, you guys. Sorry everyone got dragged into this. I've relinquished the server, and I'm no longer the owner. I'll be stepping away and no longer promoting it in videos. But if you need to ping for question, or something important, I'll always be around somewhere. It was fun while it lasted. So the question is, who did he give the server to? Give it to Nick Mullen. This part is actually inaccurate. Now, normally I would say I was just simply wrong here, and that I was also wrong to assume it after I saw members of that server say all of that uncontested. However, I wasn't wrong. I was simply lied to according to this guy that we'll get into later named VX, aka Novax, aka Cosmos. This is like the most strange lie ever. So I don't particularly understand why you would lie about this kind of thing. It's not exactly the most innocent behavior ever, but I digress. Who's Nick Mullen? Well, let's find out. Nick Mullen is 35 years old. Nick Mullen is in this server with 90s router and now controls it. The reason this is an issue is because this person named Noistering was in this server briefly, a 16-year-old. This server was allowing minors in it, which in of itself isn't necessarily a problem, as long as, I don't know, you're also not allowing sexual discourse to occur. The 16-year-old was, and we know, by the way, that she's 16, that he's 16, because upon being asked, I got this totally organized, the age of the person, they said 16, don't groove me. Normal response. The 16-year-old was acting like a normal 16-year-old, was being a bit jailbaity. By the way, I've done it. When I was 16 years old, I did that shit too, just not in the gay way. 90s router says here, well, I'm sure I'll be doxxed soon enough. I'm 32. Noistering, the 16-year-old, says, Zam, still ripe. 90s router says, are you the commentator that asked me, have your babies? Laugh emoji. Noistering says, most probably, it was the funny. I'm a girl, but I can't get pregnant. Yeah. And this is, of course, before anybody knew the age of this person. To throw that out there real quick. Nobody knew. Noistering at one other point says, who wants to get touched? 90s router says, what the fuck? Noistering says, intrusive thoughts took over. Noistering here says, fuck me. And Mr. Nick Mullen reacted with an emote that actually says, feeling cute. That's what that little emote is right there. Just throwing that out there. And then hearted the rest of them. Little weird. So, by the time everybody found out that this person was a 16-year-old, again, because Gallagher asked, nobody else asked, Yen asks, the adults not stopping it is insane. Nick Mullen says, you don't have a sense of humor. Beautiful reply. Fucking 10 out of 10. It's amazing. It's great. Back to the Gallagher thing. Boom. And then after everybody found out, I start bullying the miner out of the server. And I got a lot of flack for bullying this miner. I wasn't blaming the miner. I was not saying it was their fault. I was saying that their behavior was entirely inappropriate behavior in a server with minors in it. I mean, with adults in it. And acting that way around adults is not appropriate. And because it was obvious that 90s Router, Nick Mullen, and all the rest of them had no intent of banning this miner out of the server, I decided that the best course of action was to make sure that the miner, A, knew what they did was inappropriate as aggressively as I possibly could, and also bully that miner out of that server to, you know, deprive them of their pride and joy, right? So this miner makes a poll and it says, do you want me to leave? Look who voted no. Nick Mullen voted no. Why? After all those instances where the miner was being completely inappropriate, why would you want the miner to continue being in the server? Why would you want that? After you found all of that out, why would you want that miner still there? That's a little fucking weird. If I was flirting with somebody that I found out later was a minor, I would make them as far away from me as humanly possible. That would be my goal immediately, instantaneously. Nick Mullen, on the other hand, was fine finding out that he was acting somewhat suspicious around a minor. It was only being suspicious, of course, after finding out that that person was a minor. This was his immediate choice. In fact, actually, in that server, which unfortunately a lot of these are deleted, was arguing with everybody and defending this person, this minor, being in the server, in addition to this screen cap, which I was very lucky to get in time because, you know who deleted it? That entire poll after I took that screenshot? Almost immediately? Yeah, you guessed it, Nick Mullen did. Little fucking weird, little fucking strange, little suspicious, one might say. So, now, what's weird is to add a little bit more suspicion to this. Nick Mullen was in a stream with Glass Raven. I think I remembered it right this time. And in that stream, got kind of defensive about a lot of this stuff. Looking, you know, very innocent, of course. Right? And now, after that stream is over with, this is what he has to say. It's great. Nick Mullen said, Lio should be careful what he does next. Interesting. Careful, you say. I feel like that could be directed towards you. I will use his video against him in my upcoming videos. Yeah, the ones that nobody fucking watched, Nick Mullen. Nobody cares. The case against him is already bad enough. Just from his stream with Router and his stream with me. You mean the stream with Router where Router basically conceded to everything? That stream? And you mean the stream with Glass Raven that you were on, where you looked like an absolute retarded imbecile the entire time, getting pushed around by literally everybody, sitting there just jaw-jacking the entire time, filibustering instead of answering questions? You mean that stream? Interesting. He needs to be careful, because I'm preparing a nuke. Bro, the only person that looks bad in any of this is you. Lio actually doesn't look bad at all. But, alright. When I talk about others at length, I don't fuck around. I made a 10-hour content cop on iDubbbz. I do not fuck around. Yeah, I'm sure people stood there and watched all 10 hours. I'm sure that's exactly what happened. Moving on, he says, more targeting of server members by people who are friendly with Lio. I will target every single one of you. In fact, I am in favor of harassment on the internet. I love cyberbullying, and I love raiding. If I had the ability to get hundreds of people to raid that server and make your life a living hell, I would. It is important to note here, by the way, that this instance and all the future instances I'm about to showcase here of him being Mr. Tough Guy are instances of fake bravado, according to him. That he was just pretending to be a tough guy to boost morale or something in the server members, I guess. I don't understand why these guys like constantly do shit and then they're like, oh, actually I was lying. Like that's supposed to be like some kind of great defense or something, but whatever, dude. Lio issued a 24-hour notice to have Router speak to him. And then Router ran away, but whatever. We'll get to that in a second. Router has stepped down as server owner because of all of this. We're preparing to fire back while Lio prepares a video about Router. People are commenting on videos of Routers with unrelated shit. Put all your irritation behind me because I am coming, everyone. So scared, bro. Terrified. We've been through enough. I'm ready to act as a representative of all of us. A fat defensive piece of shit, while a history of making everyone feel bad has been crossing the line. Here's the thing. I called this guy out on stream. I explicitly told him that he doesn't actually give a shit about any of this shit. He just wants the attention from what was caused here. That's all it is. That's all this is. I will bring down the hammer in our name. Well, at least he's not doing it in the name of Jesus Christ. That would only be more cringe. I will fly the banner. Not a one of them know who they've pissed off. They're so incomprehensibly stupid that they decided that targeting, bullying, and harassing my peers is okay to do, because it is. Go fuck yourself. They called me a pedophile, a creep, so on and so forth, with no discernible regret. Actually, I called you a pedophile at first. I took it back and I said that you were a suspect. But given the fact this is how you're reacting to all of this, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards pedophile. And as this progresses, I'm going to make the point here that there's something wrong with Nick Mullen, and he actually might be a pedophile. This server may very well be a pedo den, because some of the things that were said here in that server, this motherfucker didn't give a fuck about. Interesting. I have had enough, and I will make them hurt. My efforts will be merciless. This is a cumulative problem that I mean to answer. Enough is enough. Yeah, it's boring. And so, who is this guy? Is this guy really that intimidating? You might be asking. Is he really the scary motherfucker that he makes himself out to be?
I love little girls, they make me feel so good.
So let's move on to the other mod. The other mod goes by VX or Cosmos. Some people just call him Novax. I faked the pedo shit. Always the best way to start a conversation. I, in air quotes, groomed them on purpose to make them think I was a pedo. You see, I was only pretending to want to fuck children. That's what he's going with at the start of this very conversation. Let's say hypothetically it's true. Why? Why would you want to do that? So they could leave me the fuck alone. Well, that was the reason, I guess. That's what he said. I guess pretending to want to groom kids is a really great way to get people to leave you alone. This entire shit show was planned by me since the start of this year. I don't exactly know the context for that particular conversation. And I feel like there isn't a whole lot of context that would make that, in any way, shape, or form, not fucked up and weird. Either way, this person goes on to say, okay, but why? You could block them or anything else. Cosmos says to make them work. To make them see the truth of reality. A little redundant, but okay. I may be fucked in the head, but I'm not a pedophile. I'm just a psychopath. That loves to fuck with them. Especially people like Blaze, who digs too fucking deep into my past. The other guy responds, you say the start of this year. Cosmos says, I'm telling you this so you can't say I'm a pedo. And then the guy responds with, but Valen said they were groomed 3 years ago. I'm pretty confident in saying Mr. VX, aka Cosmo, or Cosmos, or whatever, is probably a pedophile. Very, very probably. But there's one last thing I want to go over. And that's actually the reason why this stream is happening at all in the first place. They decided it would be a good idea to bring up Monstrous. I don't know how many people here know who Monstrous is, but they brought up her toddler and decided to have discourse on the genitalia of said daughter. So this guy says, also, I'm pretty sure Monstrous's child is biologically male. I don't know why we're bringing this up. Why are we discussing this? This person goes on to say, I bring a certain all my trans homies are armed, quote unquote, vibe to the function that liberals nor conservatives like. That was the response. Bear in mind, they're talking about a toddler. Just throwing that out there. Nick Mullen, by the way, as you can see at the very bottom, is in this chat. Anybody want to take bets on whether or not he banned either of these two retards? Monstrous takes this screenshot and sends it to Router and says, is there a reason your server is discussing a toddler's genitals? I'm just curious, weren't you just in hot water for the staff talking to a 16-year-old? And let's be clear, it is your server, a toddler in preschool, by the way. Well, the response from that wasn't a reply. It wasn't, oh, I'm sorry about that. Let me address this situation. No, he deleted his Twitter. Not even an hour later. Anyways, all of that shit aside, be sure to like, subscribe, and all that other gay shit. And if you really, really like this kind of crap, be sure to check out my Patreon, linked below. And lastly, if you want to watch the entirety of the live stream, I will be linking the backup for this stream in the description down below. And as always, go fuck yourselves.